Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. So, these are all the things you need. 2 alcohol prep pads, 1 needle attached to a syringe, an extra smaller needle for injecting, a cotton ball, and then all the injectables. So we have hydroxycobalamin, which is the B12, B-complex, and then this is lidocaine. So we're going to do 1 cc of each of the B vitamin bottles. So 1 cc B12, 1 cc B-complex, and then half a cc of the lidocaine.
Half a cc, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
1 and 1/2. Okay.
the way you can tell how much you're doing is measured here on the syringe. So you want to ignore the 10, 20, 30, 40 marks. That's not what you're going to look at. You're going to look at the ones that have mils or cc underneath them. So you'll be putting 1 B12, 1 B-complex, and then half lidocaine. So you're going to end up with 2.5 cc's total fluid.
Is it best to do it in that order?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So that's
doesn't
almost
matter.
a full syringe by the time you have all 3.
Almost, yeah. And it's, you know, if it's a little bit over, a little bit under, that's fine. Okay, so then your first alcohol pad you're going to use to clean the bottles. So you're just going to do a couple swipes over the gray rubber area where you're going to be injecting a needle. And then you're done with that one. So the needle that's attached to the syringe is what you're going to use to draw up the fluid. And then you're going to discard this needle because it's not the one you're going to use for injecting. So the way to do this is the B-complex. So it's 1 cc of this. So you turn it upside down and allow the needle to go through the plunger or through the rubber seal like that. And you want to be very careful not to touch the needle or touch the rubber stopper after you've cleaned it. So all of that needs to stay sterile. When it's packaged up, it's sterile, so you don't want to touch it before you inject it. And then you just draw down on the plunger, which is right here, while pushing up on the hub. So it takes a little coordination. I like the background music here.
Yeah, good.
So that's
Yeah.
1 cc of the complex in there. And then you keep holding the plunger down because it will kind of vacuum back up and shoot the
Interesting,
fluid
okay.
out. So it's not a strong force, but it's easier just to keep your hands on there. And then you'll pull out
Ooh.
1 more cc, the B12 is red. And we're a little past the 2 cc's there, but there's a little bit of air up here on the top. So,
And the air
That's
won't
fine.
kill me or anything.
well, we're going to push that out before we do the shot. It doesn't kill you, but it will hurt. So with the lidocaine, same thing. You're going to do this and
That's
pull down
comforting.
to half a cc. So the big pitfall really with drawing them up is just if you're not holding down the plunger when you're drawing, especially the second and third fluid, is releasing the fluid in the syringe up back into the old bottles. So that's why you want to hold this down. And it's okay, it doesn't make the fluid harmful or anything, but it will dilute it and kind of change the concentration of what we're trying to do. So then we switch the needle. So this is all ready, except we want to put the injecting needle on. So this
okay.
part is a little delicate because you don't want to contaminate anything. So the general rule is don't touch any of the areas with color. So this has a blue base, and you don't want to touch that. So when you peel this open and grasp it, you want to grasp it by the clear top. And then when you remove the old needle, you want to be sure not to touch anywhere on the syringe where the needle's going to attach. So you just put that directly on there, and then you screw it on, and then you're set. So to get it ready, okay, for injecting, you just push the fluid up until you see it in the hub until 1 drop comes out the top of the needle.
Okay.
And you just kind of gently
To
press
get
it.
rid of air.
Yeah, just to get rid of the air so it doesn't hurt. Alright, and then when you're preparing the injection site, you'll use your other alcohol pad. And we use the deltoid site for Brian. So you can find the deltoid pretty easily. You know, it's just this whole area
Sure.
is the deltoid. So I usually just go to the middle where it's the the chunkiest, and you cleanse it in a circular motion outward. So you start in the middle where you're going to be ejecting, and then move outward so that you don't push contaminants back into the
Okay.
injection site. And then you just give it a second to dry. If you inject it while it's still has alcohol in it, it stings. So it just needs a moment to evaporate.
The outward, I'm still not quite clear about the circular motion outward. What do you mean by outward?
Like you're using a spiral,
Okay.
basically, and you want to start, the center of the spiral is where you're going to plan to do the injection, and then spiral outward. with the
Okay,
cleansing
I
pad.
got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then to do the injection, carefully remove the needle cap, and this should be set up where it's easily, it's easy for you to recap the needle after the injection. This setup is a little awkward because we're in the waiting room,
Gotcha.
but hopefully there's a table like right here. So then you want to squeeze the area around where you want to inject, and then to do the injection, I generally just have a deep breath in, and then blow it out, and then on the exhale you inject quickly at a 90-degree angle to the skin, and you put the needle almost all the way in, you just leave about a millimeter out, and then I use this little scratch technique with my other hand as I'm injecting the fluid that helps reduce the pain. So then you can pull the needle out. There may be a little bit of fluid or a little bit of blood at the injection site. Whether there is or not, I just habitually use the cotton ball to swipe over the area. This time there's not.
That was a good one.
Good. So then you want to be very careful after you withdraw the needle to not stick yourself, because now it's a contaminated needle. So there's a couple ways to recap it. One is just very carefully pick it up and use your hand to recap it. The safer way, it's a little more awkward, but it's safer, is to keep the cap on the table and scoop the needle in like this. So
Okay.
use that, and then use your other hand to cap it. And then that's it, and the needles will go in the sharps container, which we'll provide.
Awesome.
I'm glad we did the film.
Yeah, that was way more thorough